Good morning, friends. Hope you're doing well. I want to talk about the value of long friendships. Friendships where you've been friends for years and decades. I guess I've been thinking about this a lot recently because some of my friendships have recently become decades-long friendships where I've been friends with someone since 2015. 2015 was the year that I joined what's now called Maple. It was called CML at the time. And some of my friendships from those early days have made it into a decade-long friendship where we've been friends for a decade. And my oldest friendship, my friendship with Ulysses, it's been something like 17 or 18 years at this point that we've been friends. I forget the exact year that we would have started being friends, but coming up on 20 years. And I really, really treasure those friendships so much. And there's so much shared context and so much shared knowledge. And we've seen each other grow through many chapters of our lives where, Ulysses knew me in high school and saw me go to college. And then when we traveled in Asia together, and then, I've seen him through different chapters of his life. And I foresee we'll be friends for the rest of our lives, and we'll just keep growing that context, keep seeing each other change and grow through different chapters of our lives, face different challenges, have different successes. And same with my friends from Maple, or, increasingly, I've been connected to what you might call Teapot since arguably late 2017. It wasn't called Teapot until 2021, but some of those friendships, I've been friends with people on Twitter for 7-8 years now. And again, the shared context just keeps growing and growing. And so much becomes possible from there, where you really understand each other and you really know who the other person is and where they're coming from. And of course, I've made a lot of effort over the years to meet my friends in person. I love to meet internet friends in person whenever possible. And since I'm on my pilgrimage, I get a lot of opportunities to do that. And so having that context of who someone is and having met them in person and then having corresponded over years and had Zoom calls and sent voice messages and in some cases collaborated on projects, like all of that builds shared context. And that shared context over time is just so valuable. For one thing, it's just incredibly intimate to really see someone, to really know who they are, to know something about their life, what they've gotten through, what challenges they've faced, what successes they've had, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, and to love them there and be loved in the same way. I feel so loved by these friends and so secure in those friendships. It's like, hey, we've been through so much together. There's a way in which, I've always thought that monastic training is a bit like the military or something. Not that I would know from direct experience, but like if you've been through that together, you just kind of are friends and you understand each other. And even when I met people who've been to Maple who I didn't train directly with, it's like, oh yeah, we understand each other and we have this shared context, and you kind of get what they've been through and they get you on some level. And in the same way, people who I'm friends with on Twitter, it's like, yeah, I've seen your posts for years and I know what you're excited about. I know what you care about. I know what you're interested in. I know what your experience has been. And that intimacy and that shared context just grows and grows and grows over time. And partly it's just valuable to feel connected to someone, to feel that intimacy and to love someone and be loved. But also practically, strategically, it makes so much possible when you really know someone and you really trust someone and they really know you and they really trust you, and you know what your shared strengths are, what your weaknesses are. When you have shared goals, then you can work towards those. And in so many of these friendships, I can just ask for help and be like, hey, I'm struggling with this thing. Can you help me? Or can you give me advice? Or can you connect me to someone? Or and those things change your life, right? Like being connected to the right person at the right time, or someone giving you an idea or a clue that you need to move forward with something you really care about, or just recommending a book, or saying, hey, I think you'd really like this book or this course or this video or whatever it is. Those things can really change what's possible for you and make a better life. And then we do that for each other. And because we're doing that in a larger network of a web of friendships, that benefits all of us. And this comes back to this phrase I'm always talking about: we flourish together. It's like I can see so clearly how these long friendships are so valuable to me personally, so meaningful, so loving, and so kind. And I can see how that benefits the people that I'm friends with, like frankly, how lucky my friends are to be friends with me, how lucky I am to be friends with them, and how that benefits all of us when we're connected in this way. And anything that levels any one of us up, that helps us overcome an obstacle or solve a problem or try something new that's really valuable for us, or meet someone, or whatever it is, everyone's life gets better when any one person's life is improved. And so that just compounds. It compounds individually and it compounds collectively, and it's so valuable. It's so valuable. So I really treasure these long friendships that I have, and I'm trying to steer the friendships that I have towards being these kinds of long friendships, where I really hope, for example, that all the people that I'm friends with in the Guild, that we'll be friends really for the rest of our lives, and keep growing this shared context, and keep learning and developing and loving each other and seeing each other over the years, and building things together and doing things together. And of course, some friendships end, and that's sad, but that happens. And I hope always that if that needs to happen in a friendship that I have, that I do so gracefully, that they do so gracefully. I always feel like if I'm going to have a friendship that ends, I want to have a proper friendship breakup where we name why it's ending, and talk about it together, and grieve it, and celebrate what we had while we were friends. That requires a certain level of shared maturity. And also, if that level of shared maturity is there, then it's pretty likely that you're not even going to get to that point in the first place. But yeah, people grow and change over the years, and there's people change developmentally and psychologically and spiritually, and what their values are. Like, I'm so different than the person I was when Ulysses and I became friends in high school. We kind of love to make fun of that person and who he was in this loving, sweet way. And, there's been 1,000 chapters since then that we've seen each other go through, and same for my other friendships. And I'm going to keep changing. This person that's talking today in 2025, probably I'll be very different in a year or 5 years or 10 years, but this value of friendship, I think that'll still be there, and care, and bringing excellence to it, and developing a shared way of being together. This is what our friendship is about, and this is what we care about, and this is what we're trying to do, and building that together in the same way that you would build any kind of relationship or connection. And there's just this vast sense of gratitude that I get to have these friendships, and this vast sense of possibility of, if it's this good after a year or 2 years or 3 years or 4 years, what's possible after a decade or 2 decades or 3 decades? And I really feel that, at least for myself, I'm playing my cards such that when I'm 60 or 70, I'm just going to have this. I already do have this abundance of incredible friendships, and this web of network of really beautiful people that I'm connected to, that I get to learn from and play with. But that's just going to be all the more so when I'm 60 or 70. And I feel really grateful for that, and really blessed. And it's worth putting in the time to develop these kinds of relationships, and it's worth putting in the effort to learn how to be a good friend and to improve your skill at being a friend, so that you can have these kinds of friendships, and so that you have this intimacy. It takes work to be a friend. It takes work to be a good friend, but it's so worth it, because it's so fulfilling and so rewarding and so valuable practically and strategically to everyone involved. And that just excites me. I feel so grateful for it in my own life qualitatively, and then I feel so strongly that it's so important for us as a community, for us as a interweaved network of friends and people, and really for the world, that it matters for the world, that these friendships matter for the world. So I hope this inspires you to take your friendships seriously, and to cultivate friendships that can last for years and decades, and to treasure those friends that you are friends with for a really long time, and to build a beautiful web of relationships that has these qualities and is beneficial for everyone involved and for the whole world. Thanks for listening, friends. Would love to hear what you think in the comments.